Google Gemini just came out with a new update, and I honestly think this is one of the best AI updates for the general consumer. The answers that it puts out are way more correct. So let's get into it. So here's the Google Gemini website. This is basically their article, basically showing all of their updates. So right here, it's just an article on 1.5, Gemini 1.5, what they've done. So yeah, let's just scroll down a bit. Now you're basically able to build with Gemini. Basically, you're able to connect the Google API to other APIs out there. And then basically you're able to have automations just set like that. So if you wanted doing something that like a normal automation software can't do, Google Gemini will be able to do it. Basically, it's very, very, very simple. And also you're able to connect your website to it. So if people ask questions, it can pull data from your website. So yeah, that's basically the Google API. You're able to get API connected. If you don't know what an API is, just imagine a waiter at a table. They come, ask you what you want. They go back in the back, get you it, and then come back. That's basically what an API is. So basically going back to the normal Gemini website, you're able to just immediately start chatting with it, which we're going to do later on. Basically over here, they're showing what their model is, what it can do, why it's better, and why it's so flexible. So yeah, basically this is a new update they came out with. So you're able to show it some video, you're able to brighten it, and then boom, you're showing something, it will understand it. And then as you see what this guy is doing in the video, he is drawing an arrow to what he's looking at, and then the AI is able to answer what that is. He's also showing other stuff. He's talking to it, asking it different questions about different stuff, basically doing like a sort of stress test. He's asking what it's doing outside, stuff like that. What it's showing on the whiteboard, what he could do, how he can solve that equation. So yeah, that's basically what he did. You're also able to test out Project Astro just by going here. They're going to be adding this to the Google Chrome app. So basically, you're just going to be able to click on the app, press search, and then you're going to be able to show your camera, and then you're going to be able to talk to it, which is really nice. But it would be very, very nice if Google also adds a separate app just for Gemini like Microsoft did with Copilot. That would be very, very nice. But yeah, going back to the Gemini website, it's just showing over here what the models can do separate stuff like this, understand music by just showing a video. So yeah, and with the new Gemini 1.5, it's able to understand longer text. Of course, when a new model comes out, it usually is able to understand longer text. And basically over here, they're just comparing why Google Gemini is better than GPT-4 and Claude. Funny thing is, they don't put 4.0 here because it's competing with it. But as you're able to see, it's able to understand 2 hours of video, 22 hours of audio, 60,000 lines of code, which is very impressive because you won't need more than that usually. Only if you're coding like with a big team, you're going to have more lines of code. And then it's able to understand up to 1.4 million words, which is insane. As you're able to see, they didn't show 4.0, but yeah. And then over here, they're just showing their different models, why it's good. Gemini Pro is basically the paid subscription for Google Gemini. You're able to use Gemini Pro just by going to u.com. This is basically the secret way to use models that you usually have to pay for. And the nice thing is u.com is privacy first. They make sure your data is secure, which is really nice. But as you're able to see, you're able to just start communicating with 1.5 just like that. You do have 5 messages, but still, you're able to use it. But yeah, going back, ChatGPT has a 76% score. So if you want to do math, ChatGPT is the way to go. Although what I would say though, is the reason why Gemini is so good at certain stuff is because it has access to all of Google, okay? And because it has access to all of Google, it's able to scrape all of Google faster than any other AI out there. Other AIs have to get permission to be able to scrape Google. Gemini doesn't have to do that. Google has a more in-depth knowledge on websites out there because of their AI that they built. That's the reason why no one's really able to compete with Google, and that's why Google is the most well-known search engine out there. But anyways, the math score is not that good. There's honestly better stuff. Their coding, it's really, really good. But yeah, this is basically all of their scores. The image generation, as I'm going to show you, it's not that good. You're better off using ChatGPT or Midjourney. And then as you're able to see here, it's able to be your research assistant. It's able to tell you how to take care of your plants. And I'm not really sure what this is. Tell you what shape comes next. But yeah, over here, they're just talking about your privacy. Although, as you know, Google is not that privacy oriented. If you read their privacy policy, they're never going to delete your data. It's always going to stay there if you use Gemini. So yeah, don't ask your stupid questions because Google will have it. So yeah, that's basically the problems with Gemini. There's no privacy at all for it. But hey, if you're using it for other stuff, you're not asking it stupid questions, it will help you out. And then scrolling down a bit more, Google Gemini connects with every single Google app out there. It's basically like the Apple ecosystem, but instead it's the Google ecosystem. You're able to connect it to Workspace. You're able to connect it to your ads. Connects to your Pixel phone if you have a Pixel phone. It connects to the Google Cloud if you use the Google Cloud. And of course, it connects to all Android devices. It's basically going to be reading all of your messages in Google Workspace, every single document, every single video, every single Gmail you send. It's going to be reading or listening to it. What it's going to be able to do is it's going to be able to create the best target audience for your company, and it's going to be able to create the best ad copy for your company because it just has so much data on your company. But you might be saying, but I don't want Google having access to my company yet. It doesn't feel right. But if you really think about it, it's not that big of a deal because usually communication in companies are usually not that sensitive. So yeah, just some more research articles that you're able to do research on. Basically, you're able to get access to the labs. This is basically Google's lab. Very, very cool. This is the Google AI place. Their goal is basically like OpenAI, make AI usable for every single person on Earth. And then Google Cloud, and then the Google research page, and then that's the end of their page. So basically going back to Google Gemini, what you're able to ask it to do here is some simple code. Code me hello world in Python. And of course that's correct. Now we're able to ask a more complex code like create me a simple app of a person on a pogo stick jumping over cars. And it made the code in Python, basically created the whole code. Now this is where I have the problem. It's really bad at generating images. So we're going to ask it to generate a picture of a dog on Mars eating pizza. And just look at this image. It's not that interesting. Like, if you put that same picture into ChatGPT, it's going to be generating something way better than that. Just look at this. Just look at that. Way better than what this is. Still good. It can make memes, but it's not at the quality that other AIs are at. The nice thing, though, is about Google, it is somewhat open sourced, unlike ChatGPT, where it's called OpenAI, but it's not open sourced, which is funny. But Google has open sourced some parts of it, so you're able to create your own apps on top of Google Gemini. Although it's not better than ChatGPT in every way, it's better than ChatGPT in some ways. Also, at the beginning of Google Gemini, the problem with it was that it was generating images that were not accurate at all. Like for example, it will be generating a picture of George Washington, but it will generate him as a black man. Totally false. But yeah, they fixed that. They had to stop all image generations from Google Gemini because it was insanely generating wrong images of stuff. Here's an example of it generating false images. Like someone asked it generate me a picture of a pope. It only generated black people as popes. There's another one, generate me a Viking. Everyone knows Vikings are white. They come from the north and no black person lived in the north during that time, and it generated a picture of a black Viking. That does not make sense. So yeah, that was the problem with it. They fixed that problem now, but it just took them a bit to fix. You probably don't know this. Gemini used to be also called Bard. That's what it was called before it was rebranded. Gemini is a way better name than Bard. Bard was a terrible name. But yeah, Bard was basically the first version of Gemini. It did its job. It was pretty good at what it did. But yeah, during these recent advancements of AI, it's just been getting better and better and better. So yeah, going back to you.com, you're able to get access to all of these AIs out there for free. You don't even have to pay for it. You do have a limited use, but you don't have to pay for it, which is really, really nice. So yeah, I would recommend using you.com if you want to be able to get access to all of these stuff. It's free. There's no downside to it. They're very privacy focused, unlike all of these other big tech companies. So that's really, really nice. And if you want to upgrade, it's just $20 a month and you have access to all of the AIs out there, not just one. So yeah, the nice thing about Google is that it connects with all of their apps out there. It will connect with the Gmail app. It'll be able to compose emails for you. It'll be able to do everything for you, making your life way easier, which is going to be really nice. It's just, you also have to remember, they don't really care about your privacy. I'm just emphasizing that because I'm a very privacy-focused guy. I don't like people having all of my data. That's why I've basically switched from using Google to Brave, because I don't like being tracked on every single website I go to. It's like, I'd rather not have someone following me on the road. Same thing, just online. I'm very, very hyped on what Google has to come out with. They have improved so much. They've basically caught up with ChatGPT in the past couple of months. So Google is a big competitor. I would recommend using Gemini in your business. It will save you a lot more time. And yeah, if you want AI implemented into your business like AI callers, feel free to book a call in the description of this video. And if you need any other help with AI, feel free to join my Discord server, link in the description.